Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we'll be covering on the a new chapter, which is sovereign risk. Okay, what do you know about sovereign? Foreign. Okay. Foreign should be foreign. Foreign should be foreign. Sovereign. What do you understand about sovereign? Sovereign. Sovereign is actually got something to do with the country, with the country itself, with the we call it the political stability, the economic stability of a particular country, the sovereign, the kedaulatan of that particular country. So it can be our sovereign, okay, it can be the other country's sovereign, right? So basically, sovereign risk is whereby when you invest in other countries, for example, you give loans to other foreign companies, and then there are some problems with that country, whereby maybe there are some political instability, war, or probably there are some new policies being actually we call it being promoted by that particular country. Okay, so that is actually what we call the risk of a sovereign risk. Okay, basically risk that repayment from foreign borrowers may be interrupted because of interference from foreign government, right? So if we are looking at our sovereignty, there's our government, right? So basically, if you look at the nature of investment, the more stable of a country, okay, the more foreigners or companies from foreign countries want to invest in that particular country, right? So one indicator of looking at Malaysia, for example, you can look at the money inflow and money outflow, okay, from the stock market, right? So if the money inflow is positive, right, so it means that the foreigner are buying our shares, our companies. If the money outflows is more than the money inflow, then it's become negative, right? So it's simply stating that the foreigner are not confident with our country, right? So that's simple as that, right? Okay, for example, you know that for this is looking at the stock market, but if you are looking at the economy as a whole, probably McDonald's will be coming in, right? KFC will be coming in, Tesco, Aeon, okay, all are the foreign direct investment that come into our economy. So which means that they are confident with our sovereignty, right? They are confident with our sovereignty because we don't have war here, and we don't resolve we call it political differences with war, right? So we have our democracy, we call it parliamentary discussion. So they debates on certain issues, right? And then they will resolve it by only using debates, not by weapons, arms, and also tanks and bombs and so on, right? Okay. So the introduction here is that in the 1970s, so there is like the expansion of loans to Eastern Bloc, okay, for example, from the US to the Latin America and also other less developing countries. Okay, hold on. Okay, right. And then, so what is less developing countries? Less developed countries are countries that are actually not really well in terms of the economy, in terms of the political situation. They are just developing. And what about Malaysia? What are we categorized? We are developed already. Are we developed countries, or are we still developing? We are a developing country. We are targeting to become a developed country, a modern country, a high income country by so you have to have a target. 1050, that is so far away, right? Alright, so but basically you need to know when is our target to become a high income nation country, right? So when you have a high income nation, then you can say that you are a developed country, right? And in the beginning of the 1980s, okay, there are debt moratoria announced by Brazil and also Mexico. So this is moratorium. Moratorium. You know what's moratorium? Yes. Again. Yes. Yeah, that delay. What you call it? Delay. This is in the book. So if you read the book, okay, debt moratoria is actually delay in repaying interest or in principal or on debt. So basically, they have problem. Brazil and also Mexico, they have economic problem. They have debts, but they cannot we call it service the principal and interest. So what happens that they have to increase the loan loss reserves. Okay, all right. And City Corporation set aside additional 3 billion in reserve. So basically, when they cannot pay, then you have to put certain portion of the non-payment and NPL into bad debts, right? So you are providing provision for doubtful debt or bad debts, right? So they reserve about 3 billion, City Corporation. Okay. In late 1980s and early 1990s, expanding investment in emerging market, peso devaluation, and also subsequent restructuring. So this is example of a country is also facing financial problem, and they are also we can actually say that a country is actually like almost the same as a company or an individual, right? So it depends on who manage the country, how we manage the money of the country. All right. And then in early 2000, concern over Argentina and also Turkey. Last time, earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, I've met a traveler from Argentina. Her name was I've forgotten. Huh? No, she's a she. Her name was I've forgotten her name. Right, I forgot her name, but we met and then we do have some discussion, right? And she's still single, right? And she travels from one country to another country. So why I say that she's single is because she's very brave to travel from one country to another, to Australia, to Thailand, to Malaysia, to a lot of countries, and then at the same time, okay, she has been traveling for almost 2 years. 2 years, right? So I asked a lot of questions. So how did actually she manage her money, finance, budgeting, and so on, right? And then I have written it in the newspaper. Her experience of managing her money, right? At the same time, she also do some part-time jobs just to survive. All right. So then she also mentioned about the economy of Argentina at that particular time was not really good. Okay, at that particular time, the jobs market, okay, the job market is very, very difficult. Okay, and then a fresh graduate can only earn so little, so little, so that you have to work 2 or 3 jobs. Okay, while studying, okay, she has to work 3 jobs while studying, because she has to pay for her apartment rental, and then she is not from a rich family. Okay, her parents live in a rural area, and she has to study in the Buenos Aires, right, which is a city, right? So basically, she has to pay for her tuition fees and then so on, and after graduated, she traveled the world. She see the world, which is interesting, right? Free, what we call it, a free, free from responsibility because she's girl. Okay, all right. So the problem is that I'm trying to say is that Argentina was not really good at that particular time. Okay, and also Turkey, even though Turkey was not really good in the 2000s, right? But now actually Turkey is actually doing quite well, right? Under Erdogan, right? So basically they have actually turned around the economy, and they have managed to provide jobs, opportunities to the Turkish. Because if you look in the Europe, okay, basically there are a lot of Turkish working or maybe residing in other countries, right? So whenever, okay, a country cannot provide sufficient jobs opportunities, then you can see that many of their countrymen will go away and then stay in other countries. All right, now in the late 2000, economic plummets. Okay, you remember? And do you remember in the year 2000? Yes. How old are you? 4 years old, right? Yes, tremendous. Okay, excellent. When you are 4 years old, the economy of the global economy has some problems. Okay, at that time you are still young, very young. You don't know anything, right? You just play around without any shirt, and then just But at that particular time, there are one crisis that we call the subprime crisis. The subprime crisis, which is actually occurred in the U.S. Okay, the U.S. bank has actually provide loans to anybody, right, who can actually provide any slips forever, whatever, but actually he cannot afford to pay. So what happened is that these loans, which not good quality loan, okay, they are not good quality because they cannot be paid. But the banks are they are so, what you call it, the financial treasuries, treasurers, they are so good in what you call it, finance. So they what you call it, not disguise, but they actually make up the assets to become a derivative. Okay, and then it is actually being sold to other countries. Okay, derivative. Do you know what's derivative? Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. At least someone don't know that. Okay. All right. Derivatives are something that is derived from one thing. Okay. Okay. Stocks. For example, you have stocks, and then something derived from the stocks that is called derivative. Okay, so it can become option. Okay, call option, put option. Okay, commodities, for example, crude oil. When you derive it something to another product, then it become derivatives. So the same thing as the assets. Okay, the loans. When you the loans is the loans, but when you do some product and then it's derived from that loans. Okay, the asset that being sold by the banks, then it's called derivatives. Okay, it can become options, can become futures or something forward and so on and so on. And then developed countries face some of the worst decline in the GDP, the gross domestic product, ever experienced. Okay, IMF pledged to inject 250 billion. So IMF, International Monetary Fund, come to the rescue, giving loans, giving loans with interest. So they come to the rescue, but in one condition. We give you this money, right? You have to pay back with additional interest, right? Okay. And then there is another one, the Greece debt crisis in year 2009 until 2012. At that particular time, I was in the UK. Okay, my friend from Greece. Okay, they were also talking about there's nothing happened. It's okay, but when we look at it from the TV, right, from the news, you can see that the Greece, okay, they riot, okay, they can't even buy their food and so on, right, because of the banking crisis. Okay, crisis in Greece spread to Portugal, Spain, and in Italy. Okay, then there have to have multi-year restructuring agreements, MIRA they call it. Okay, all right. So that's examples of what happened in other countries. We can see that in 1997 we also faced the same problem, whereby we are being hit, okay, with this currency crisis. 1997, 1998, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Korea, all right, and Russia. So all of these countries are being hit by the currency crisis. So you can see that our currency devaluated from 2.5 until 4.8 at that particular time. So you just imagine, if you want to buy $1, you have to pay 4.8 ringgit. Right? It goes more than 4.8 ringgit. 4.8. It might be go for 5. Right? So basically, from 2.5 to 4.8, you have been poor by half. Right? Because last time you can pay for one nasi lemak, now you have to pay half of the nasi lemak, for example. Okay, with the same money. Okay, if US is selling nasi lemak. Alright, okay. And then we look at the credit risk versus sovereign risk. Right, government can impose restriction on debt repayment to outside creditors. This is one example that we Malaysia do. We have this in 1998. We impose the capital control. So foreigners who have money in Malaysia cannot withdraw their money from Malaysia with certain restriction. They have to report, okay, they have to do a lot of things, right? So then only they can actually withdraw their money. If they are not being imposed, okay, the capital control, probably you can see that the foreign fund will flow from Malaysia. And then what happened when we have this currency crisis, followed by the foreign investors taking out money? So you can see that probably the economy at that particular time might be totally disaster, right? So that's why we have to impose financial control, the capital control. So the same thing, if the other countries do the same thing, right? So they say that, okay, no, you cannot pay your whatever to the this is like, for example here, restriction on debt repayments. Okay, so for example, country A, for example, say that, okay, to all the companies who are borrowing from outside, don't pay your money first, don't pay your debt. Okay, so what to do? Okay, what to do is not you are dealing with a foreign government, and if the government says that, then you don't have any choice, right? So that is the risk if we are dealing with international counterparts, right? And loan may be forced into default, okay, become NPL, even though the company is actually a very good company, okay, because of the controls, because of the policies being imposed. Even the company is a very good company, because the company cannot just pay to us, right? Then our loan will become NPL, right? Okay, and legal remedies are very limited. You cannot go for legal action. What do you want to do? Right? You want to sue the government, right? All right, and then emphasizes the need to assess credit quality and also sovereign risk. So you have to assess both. You have to assess credit, right, risk, which is the company itself, for example, and also the country risk. Okay, so you can see that there are countries that are very, very risky, right? Very, very risky. For example, what are the countries do you think that are very risky for you to invest? Greece, okay. At the moment, the current Greece is in 2000. Israel definitely. This is online. And you cannot actually invest in Israel. Okay, you cannot even go to Israel. Right. All right. Middle East countries such as Iraq. We do invest in Iraq right now. Okay, some you see that Petronas, for example, okay, they have their operational site over there. You know, when you are working as a Petronas, for example, as a the oil companies workers, you are being paid, for example, allowance, life allowance, I think it's about $300 or $1,000 a day. A day. Is it? I think it's $300. So, but the risk of you, yeah, you know, right? So, because you know, you cannot actually go out from the barriers. Okay, there are some, like, for example, you have to work inside the barriers. You cannot go out. You just stay inside there. So everything is provided in the facility. All right, it's just like a prison, but you're being paid. Okay, you're being paid. All right. Okay. Example: Iraq, Syria. Okay. Afghanistan. All right. Somalia, right? Why Somalia? Because they are war, yeah, okay, and so on, right? Okay, debt repudiation. Okay, what is actually debt repudiation? Debt repudiation is just simply saying that all your debts, okay, all your future debt, okay, will be cancelled, will be waived, right? Cancelled, right? So basically, there are certain countries, only China, Cuba, and also North Korea, the World War II, okay, and then international policy toward the poorest countries in the world. So this is actually debt repudiation, okay? So in the fall 1996, at the World Bank, the IMF, and the major government around the world agreed to forgive, tu maksudnya to waive, okay, to waive the external debt of the world poorest, most heavily indebted poor countries. Okay, the heavily indebted poor countries broke new ground by removing debt obligation from countries that pursue economy and social reform targeted at measurable poverty reduction. Okay, so this is actually trying to save the country from poverty. Okay, from poverty. All right. Debt rescheduling. Okay, last night we all talked about debt rescheduling. Okay, you remember debt rescheduling and debt restructuring? Okay, debt rescheduling is just merely changing the tenor and the time, okay, and also the installment amount or maybe the rate, right? Okay, so there is no change of contracts, the same contract. For restructuring, then you change three what call it, okay, three. All right, so the analogy yesterday is just like marriage, can? Okay, so one is that you break with that one, that you have another one. Okay, the other one is you maintain the existing one, but you have another new contract. Okay, easy to remember. All right, now, okay, so more likely to occur with international loan financing rather than bond financing. So basically, rescheduling, when you are talking about credit management, is for local, for the bank, for the local consumers. But when you talk about risk management in the sovereign risk, then you are talking about rescheduling for a country, debt of a country, right? Okay. Country risk evaluation. Now, once we were talking about sovereign risk, how do you want to measure whether this country is high risk or low risk or medium risk? So this is the thing that we have to look, right? So probably you need to listen to the news, international news, okay, watch Al Jazeera, BBC, CNN, just to look to understand about what is happening around the world, right? So it's very interesting if you actually know about what is happening around the world. You know what's happening in the US, you know what's happening with Donald Trump, you know what he's shouting, right? What he tweeted, this is another, cynical, jokes, okay, by the investors. Now we have technical analysis, we have fundamental analysis, we have the institutional analysis, we have Donald Trump tweet analysis. All right, so Donald Trump tweet will actually affect the market. Okay, so basically when you want to evaluate a country, you have to have a model. It's either you need to understand about the country itself, or you have model that actually provide measurement, right? That actually provide the ranking of a country from number 1 until the last one. Okay, so the outside evaluation models, okay, we can see that here. Okay, for example, the Euro money country risk rating. Okay, the Euro money country risk rating. All right, so this is in page 430. So if you look at, there are 5 tiers of the Euro money country risk rating. 5 tier. The first tier, okay, would be Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, Canada, Australia, United States, France, and also United Kingdom. So this is like saying that, wow, this is the elite, all right, the elite group. So the risk is a bit low compared to, you look at number 5, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, Zimbabwe, and Somalia. Somalia is the lowest one. Why do these countries are all Muslim countries? So that's the problem here. We need to be number 1, tier 1 instead of tier 5. Okay. All right. That is for the Euro Money Index. Okay. Then we have the Economic Intelligence Unit ratings, which is a sister firm to the Economist. Okay, the Economist Intelligence Unit, okay, rate countries based by combined economic and political risk on a 100-point maximum. Okay, the higher the number, the worse the severe risk rating of the country. Okay, the iaitu country risk rating is reported at 14.1. Okay, you can see here, okay, figure 14.1. The highest is Syria, followed by Somalia, Venezuela, Sudan, North Korea, Zimbabwe, Iraq, Iran, Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Ireland, United Kingdom, France, Japan, Germany, United States, Canada, Sweden, Singapore, and Switzerland. Switzerland is the lowest risk. Okay, you have the maximum risk is 100, and Switzerland has the lowest. Okay, this is for the 2015. Okay, 2015. So you can see the latest one, probably 2016 or 17. Malaysia, you need to go to the website. Okay, right? Okay, and then we have Institutional Investor Index. Okay, this is normally published twice a year. Okay, Institutional Investor Index published twice a year. Okay, this index is based on surveys of loan officers of major multinational banks. So basically, this is actually being done by the loan officers, the survey. All right, and then these officers give subjective scores regarding the credit quality of given countries. But the question is that how an officer, bank officer in Malaysia, would like to give rating to a country in Syria, for example, if the bank officer is not well knowledgeable about multinational firms. But I believe that the selection of respondents must have some criteria that allow them to become respondents. Okay. Originally, the score was based on 10, but since 1980, it has been based on 100, with a score of 0 indicating certainty of default, and 100 indicating no possibility of default. So this one, the higher the better, the lesser the worse. Okay. Okay, the solution investor then grade the score received from the officers surveyed by the exposure of each bank to the country in the question. For a sampling of the institutional investor country credit rating as of March 2015, okay, we can see table 14-4. Okay, we have we call it the institutional investor rank. Switzerland as number 1. Number 2 is Norway. 3 is Sweden. 4 is Germany, United States, Canada, Singapore, Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a very small country. It's a very small country. I've been to Luxembourg twice, right? And because it is small, right? So last year in December, I went to Germany, and then I drive from Germany to Luxembourg, then go back. Okay. Luxembourg is just beside Germany. They have their own currency or not? They are using euro. Okay. All right. So it's a very small country, so it's easy to manage. Okay. But because if you look at European countries, there are no borders. Okay, there are no borders. You can just enter from Luxembourg to Germany to France, okay, without having your passport being chopped. Okay, you don't have to go for immigration unless you go from the airport. Okay, if you go from the airport, then they have to check, okay, your passport. But once you are in Europe, you can go from anywhere, okay, to anywhere in Europe except United Kingdom. United Kingdom you still have to because they are very, what call it, they are very strict about their visa and entry, okay, about their right. And you look at the last country is Somalia, Zimbabwe, North Korea, Central Africa, Sudan, Guinea, right, Afghanistan, Syria, Comoros, and so on. Okay. You see that these countries are high risk. Okay, high risk. We do have some investment, for example, in Sudan. Okay, our oil investment. Okay, in Sudan. All right. So, but even though the risk is high, but because Malaysia is not really because we want to become always as neutral as possible. Okay, neutral as possible. We don't actually engage in any war. Okay, we don't have capability of nuclear weapons and so on. So basically that's the best thing of Malaysia. Okay, we are a country of peace. Okay, country of peace. All right, so that's the rating of institutional investor index. Then we have internal evaluation model. So internal evaluation model, statistical model. Okay, by far the most common approach to evaluating sovereign country risk among large financial institutions has been to develop sovereign country risk scoring model based on key economic ratios for each country, similar to the domestic credit risk scoring model discussed earlier in our credit. So we call it maybe you will become the analyst. Okay, you become the analyst. Right, you will analyze the country risk. So you will develop a model by yourself. So this is internally done by the bank, right? Basically, big banks will use this. They have the money to hire an analyst. Okay, so they will analyze the country risk. So then only they will invest in that country. All right. So, for example, you can see that we have a lot of foreign banks coming to Malaysia. Okay, example of foreign banks in Malaysia. You have Rajhi, KFH, you have Citibank, you have Standard Chartered, you have there are so many foreign banks, right? When they want to invest in Malaysia, they will do the sovereign risk, the country risk analysis of Malaysia. Okay, whether they want to invest, they want to open a branch here, right? Citibank, they want to open a branch in Malaysia. They don't want. Okay, so they need to evaluate our sovereignty. Okay, our risk, the country risk. So that is the internal evaluation. Okay, you can use debt service ratio. Okay, the same as debt service ratio for individual, right? The country also have a debt service ratio, which is the interest. Oops, where is it? Okay, which is interest plus amortization on debt over export. Okay, it's a bit different as DSR for individual. DSR for individual is you look at your income against your expenses against your income, right? So what would be the debt ratio, the debt service ratio? The maximum that you can go is how much? right? So, but for the country, it is actually based on interest and amortization on debt. You divide by the export. Export is actually like income, right? The income, external income. You're exporting from your Okay, all right. Now you look at the debt service ratio for various countries. Okay, so here in table 14-6, okay, you have Argentina debt service ratio of 13.8, Armenia 62.38, which is very high, right? Azerbaijan 6.93, Bangladesh 4.7, Brazil 29.46, Bulgaria 13.33, China 1.64. So we state just China is either the export is so big, right? Because they export so big, right? Then the debt service ratio is very good, 1.68%, 64%. Colombia, El Salvador, and Ecuador is just a little bit, okay, more than 10%. Fiji 1.89, Honduras 14.31, Kazakhstan 34.49, Mexico 9.2, Nicaragua is about 11.61, Turkey 26.92. So Turkey has a problem at that particular time, okay. Okay, and then the United States, which is 0.06, which is very small. Okay, problem with statistical CRA models. Okay, measurement of key variables. The problem is how we want to look at the key variables. Okay, the data itself. So basically, we look at very often the financial manager's information on country DSR or IR is out of date because of delay in collection of data and errors aggregate loan volume data for countries. One, data is late. For example, you have 2015 data, now we are in 2018, right? One more thing is that the errors while they are collecting the data, aggregating the data, there might be some errors. Okay, they might be not the same data. The one who compile it, okay, might be using the data which is not really similar. Okay, for example, this is divided by some X, this is divided by Y, but you just combine it, right? So that is a problem. Second one is population group. Okay, final distinction that reschedulers and non-reschedulers may be required. Okay, basically, we want to distinguish between two possible outcomes, reschedulers and non-reschedulers. In actual, a final distinction, countries announcing a moratorium on only interest payment and those announcing moratorium on both interest and principal payment. Thus, Greece, in which 2011 forced a 74% haircut on debt. Now, see, haircut. Remember, I have mentioned about haircut. Yesterday, I mentioned about haircut. Now you see where is haircut. What is haircut? Okay, haircut is not going to the barber and then have a haircut. Okay. It is actually you do some haircut on your principal or maybe your interest. Okay, interest on principal. Okay, for example, Greece, okay, they force a 74% haircut on debt to private debt holders should be viewed as a higher country, a risk country than a country such as Dubai that delayed the interest payment on its debt for a few months in 2009. Because of short-term foreign exchange shortage. Now, there are two cases. One is Greece. Greece do haircut. Dubai pay late because of some problem, right? So you cannot just say that okay, because they are having problem ni, then you are just saying that okay, they are the same, the risks are the same. But in reality, Greece, because it's doing haircut, a 474% haircut, then it's higher risk as just paying a little bit late. Okay, A to a haircut. Okay, dia cakap okay, tak nak bayar 74% dia tak nak bayar, example. Satu lagi, saya bayar lambat sikit boleh tak? So mana satu yang risiko tinggi? Which one is the risk is higher? The one who doesn't want to pay, the one to do the haircut, right? Haircut by 74%. Okay, so that is the thing. Dah, semua nak pergi haircut pula dah. Lepas ni boleh pergi apa? Potong rambut. Ada kan di sini? Dekat mana? Then you have political risk factors may not be captured. Macam mana tak ada? Saya tengok ada tu. Terus tutup. Okay, hold on. Extend. Okay. Okay. Okay, the political risk factors that may not be captured, for example, strike, corruption, election, revolution, okay, corruption perception index. Okay, for example, if you look at there is like figure 14.2, which is a corruption perception index in 2015, which is source is from Transparency International, June 2015. Okay, www.transparency.org. You can see that the countries, for example, having rank, okay, from the highest to the lowest. Okay, Denmark the highest, Somalia is the lowest. Where is Malaysia? Can we just check the internet and see where is okay, let's see. Corruption, okay, we have the 2017 index here. 2017 index. Okay, you want to see this? Saya nampak. I can see it clearly here. If you cannot see it, then there's something wrong. Alright, so let's see. Let's see, how do I want to actually show it to you? Alright, so projector. Okay, this is the Corruption Perception Index 2017 from transparency.org. Okay, then okay, 2017. Now let's look at this. Okay, result tables. Still, Somalia is the lowest, right? Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Syria. Where is the table? Okay, here. Alright, now let's see, where is Malaysia? Okay. Alright, we can just look at here, Malaysia. Okay. So Malaysia is not in the hold on here. 47. Okay, Malaysia is 47, rank 62. Okay, which is not bad, which is good. Yeah. Yes. Russia 29, so very low, so which is ranked 135 out of 180. Okay. Okay, so the one which is, this is rank 16, rank number 8, okay, rank number 77. We are quite okay compared to Australia. No, we are 62, they are 13, okay? They are 13, we are 62. Japan is 20. Right, so Kashmir, where is Kashmir? Afghanistan, Pakistan, 117. Right. Korea, Japan, we have already showed it to you. It's, number 20, alright. Korea. Where is Korea? North Korea, 171. Okay, South Korea, 51. Okay, South Korea. Okay, any country that you want to know? So this is actually being done by Transparency International. Okay, you have to look at what is the methodology being used and so on, right? But as an indicator, we can actually use this as the indicator. And Malaysia is quite okay, not bad. We are ranked number 62 out of 180, which is 1/3. Okay, 1/3. Right, so which is quite okay. We are on the borderline of the 1/3. Okay, on the, maybe we are not, we are in the second, I mean this. All right, this one. UAE. Number 21. Okay, Thailand is 37, ranked 96. We are better than Thailand. We are better than Indonesia. We are better than Philippines. We are better from all other countries around us, except for Australia. Okay, so which is good. Then we need to number one is Denmark, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if Denmark. Oh, number 2. Now Denmark's gone number 2. So number 1 should be New Zealand. Oh, number 1. Oh, New Zealand. Saya ingatkan siapa tadi. New Zealand number 1. Okay. So no corruption in New Zealand. Not really no corruption, less corruption. They don't call it corruption, they call it gift. Alright, okay, now we will continue on. Alright, so with this Okay, and then some other problem, which is a portfolio aspect. Many large financial institutions with less developed countries, exposures diversify across countries. Okay, diversification of risk not necessarily captured in the CRA model. So this is a portfolio aspect. So basically, you're looking at portfolio. There are so many countries, right? Okay, so this is a problem. Okay, rarely address incentive aspect of rescheduling, borrowers and lenders, benefit, costs and so on. Stability model likely to require frequent updating. So if you do the statistic, then you need to do frequent updating, right? And that is actually some work, a lot of work. Because data from various countries need to be compiled together. Then you need to analyze it. Okay, then you get the results. Then you do only the ranking. Okay, using market data to measure risk, secondary data for the less developing countries' debt, okay, the seller and also buyer. Okay, basically sellers are large financial institutions willing to accept write-downs of loans on their balance sheet. Okay, they can actually do write-off because they are large. But for small financial institutions wishing to disengage themselves from less developing countries and also the emerging market, because they are small, okay, they cannot afford to face the risk. Large firm, they can just write off, right? And then the financial institution willing to swap one country LDC, less developed country, and emerging market, that for another to rearrange their portfolio of a country risk exposure. So they can actually change, they can actually swap. Okay, swap. Swap is just swapping, right? Okay, and then for buyers, wealthy investors, hedge fund, financial institution, corporation seeking to engage in debt for equity swap or speculative investment. Debt for equity swap, which means that you give, first you give debt. Then if you cannot pay, then convert to equity. Right. So sometimes you can own the country. So that's a problem with foreign fund. Okay. We have issues also, right? We have issues, okay. But it's actually, I don't want to go into that because until it become political. especially during election, kan? So basically, whatever, okay, when we borrow from the external or the foreign countries, okay, if they are actually looking at this, okay, debt to equity, right? Okay, you cannot pay, then that land maybe become theirs, right? So then it become this. Okay. Financial institutions seeking to rearrange their LDC and EM balance sheet by reorientating their LDC and EM debt concentration. Okay, all right. So the issue is here is that's why you don't really need to get too much debt from foreign countries. Malaysia, we do need fund, but not too much. If you can pay back, right? If you can pay back the debt, then it's okay, right? This is the thing that you need to understand. Okay, where is your income and how you want to repay back. If you cannot repay back, then it's gonna be a big problem. But I believe that they know where the money will come from. The fund from GST goes to the development of the country. GST should be, it goes like this. You get tax, go back to the society and also the country from infrastructure development or from poverty reduction. Okay, helping the people who are in subsidy. You call it subsidy. Subsidy is actually can be done from you getting your apa tu yang dekat bank rakyat. So that is free money, right? I didn't get it. I pay tax. You get it. You get it? Huh? So do you know where it goes? To you, right? But I'm paying, right? So bank contribution is helping you for your study. But I cannot help you. For example, for one person, I cannot help you to finish the whole course of duration. But I can contribute only probably a bit of your brief, okay? A bit of your whatever from my tax that I'm paying every month, okay, annually. So that's the thing. That's one thing. The other thing is GST. There are two types, right? One is the direct, and the other one is indirect. So basically, GST also, okay, will be used maybe proportionately will be used for BRIM, for building schools and so on, etc. Okay, you tax your people and you give back to the people who really need. And it's also being done by many developed countries, such as United Kingdom. They have 18%. VAT is 18%. United States of America, depending on the state, almost about 17%. Okay, in other countries they are also quite high, right? In Singapore might be about, I'm not really sure about Singapore. Australia also, okay. And when I was when BRIM has GST is being actually firstly before they want to implement GST, I was interviewed by one TV station. Okay, it's actually an online TV station, TV1 News. It's actually RTM TV. okay, asking me my opinion about GST. I say that GST is good for the economy, but the price of goods will be increased a little bit, because from the experience of other countries, okay, for example, when Australia did the GST, okay, the CPI index goes up, right? The CPI index goes up. It's one way underground. All right. So basically, the interview that actually it was online for quite some time before the implementation, and then it was taken down. Probably because my comment, okay, my comment is that the price will go up, right? And then the other menteri said price goes down. So basically, it's not okay. Prices will go up a bit because it's from history, it's from data. Data don't lie. Okay, price will go up, but the benefit actually can assist a lot of other people. Okay, the benefits. Yes, we do have some problem with prices. Okay, but that price that GST should be channeled back to the people who are really in need. Students lah macam you all, kan? Subsidi you all, tapi you all lah banyak dapat IPTA tak apa dapat kan? You all subsidi about 10,000 a year, right? 10,000. That is tuition fees. You only pay about 3,000 kan? How much do they pay? 1 year? 3,000 lah, right? Tahun kan? 3,000. So 10,000 is being subsidized because 13,000. So 10,000 subsidized, right? So 3,000 only you pay because if you are in the IPTS, that's the amount that you are paying. Okay? So 10,000. Another buku prim berapa? 1 year. For 1 year or one semester? 1 year. So add another 250. So add some more, apa benda lain-lain kan. So actually quite a lot of money has been channeled for the education. Okay, and also this is education. There is also money channeled for infrastructure. Infrastructure, for example, roads, okay, schools, buildings, government offices, okay, sports complex, okay, football field, and so on. Not really sure about that. Not really sure about that. Prima house is actually should be some subsidy. Probably, yeah. Because the price of the house is being kept by a certain level, and there should be. I mean, the developer they want to have also profit. So probably there are some mechanism. It's either the government they don't make a lot of profit, but they have volume. Okay. Or maybe the government gives some subsidy. I'm not really sure about that. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. Okay. Okay, mechanism for dealing with sovereign risk exposure. Okay, there are alternative mechanisms to handle problems with sovereign credits once they have arisen. You don't say that it does not arise, even though you have done a very meticulous, I call it risk assessment. Sometimes risk occurs, things happen, or maybe people say shit happens, right? But shit happens there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, terkejut je. No, I just American they say it. Okay, so what we can do is we use debt for equity swap. This is the thing that they use. Debt for equity swap. You cannot pay, then you change to debt, equity. Right? I've done this restructure when I was working with Bank Pembangunan last time. I have restructured. One of the mechanism is debt to equity. So from debt, we want to change it to equity. The bank become the shareholder. So in this case, the country become the owner of the country. So you can become the owner of the country, such as that. Okay. And then multi-year restricting of loans, MIRA, sale of LDC loans on the secondary market. This is the same like last time in 1997 and 1998 when we are facing the financial crisis. Banks have a lot of NPL. Once they actually reduce the NPL from 6 months to 3 months, so the NPL become big. So what happened? The banks have almost 20% NPL in their balance sheet. So they cannot have that. So they have to sell the NPL to a dana harta. They call it dana harta. Okay. So dana harta buy the NPL at discount. Okay, they buy the loans at discount, and then dana harta will try to serve the customers. Okay, all right, and then bond for loan swaps and so on. Okay, debt for equity swap like this. The example is Citigroup and also Chile. Okay, Citigroup and Chile. Okay, MIRAS is restructuring. Okay, interest rate change on new loans is generally lower than the rate on the original loan. Grace period may apply, so maybe you can say that okay, for the first few years you don't have to pay anything. Grace period, right? Such as the one that we are getting from ECRL. I think for the ECRL loan, we don't have to pay 8 years. For 8 years. Okay, the grace period is okay, free for 8 years. You don't have to pay. Grace period ni tak bayar apa-apa. You start bayar selepas grace period. Okay. Alright, and then maturity of loan is long term, probably. Macam dihinggirkan, okay, kita panjangkan lagi. Option and guarantees features, okay, you get guarantees, option. Concession for financial institution are larger, the lower the PV of the structured loan relative to the original. Okay, alright. That's for MIRA. This other mechanism, loan sales. Okay, loan sales tadi, example as given dana harta. Okay, bond for loan swaps, transform loan into highly marketable and liquid instrument, a bond. This is being done, for example, in 2000, the subprime crisis. Okay. Usually possess senior status of remaining loans. Okay, the loans is not quality, bad quality loans. You what call it? You structure it to become, for example, this is a bond, or maybe some other instrument, some other highly complicated, highly technical financial instrument. Right. So that's the task of you guys. You will be the one who will be thinking about, okay, now we have this problem, we have this loan, this is not good, how we want to transform it, okay, to sell it to the international market, okay, by using a bond, for example, okay, the asset behind the bond is the loans. That's why the loans must be high quality loans, then only you can sell. Or if you want to sell not good quality loans, then the rating should be not AAA. bond we have triple A, triple B. Maybe you can give the rating is C. Right, then it's fair. Right, then it's fair. When you have a C rating, okay, the interest that you have to pay is higher because the bond is riskier. Okay, the rating is C. But for Malaysian bond, our bond rating is normally about double A, right? The latest one. Okay, double A. So we are just one more to get the triple A. So which is good. Our sovereign bond is double A. So the tutorial for this is number 1, 2, 6, 7, 11, 12 and 22. Is there any questions? Okay, I will just end the live session first.